We're talking advanced air mobility with the co-founder of VertX Aero, Julie Garland. Now, Julie, what is the company? Tell us a bit about VertX Aero.
Sure, it's great to be here, Bryn. And VertX Aero, we've just established it where we've got 3 providers coming together to bring the expertise from manned aviation into the eVTOL space. And what we're looking at is pilot training in the eVTOL. So we have these hybrid pilots now who are a cross between a helicopter pilot when we're going up and down and a fixed-wing pilot when we're flying in vertical flight. So we need to bring the competence from manned aviation, but then look towards this hybrid method of flying aircraft and the transitions that will go on between vertical flight and horizontal flight.
So you'll identify that there is going to be some gap in the market between these 2 pilots with the training. How do you go about training up someone to make sure they can move between these 2 very different methods of flight?
Well, one of the things we're looking towards is really building a simulator so that we have this simulated environment that the pilots can really embrace. And what we need to protect is the industry and make sure that it's a flawless safety record. So by coming together with the companies that we have and by developing simulator environment where we do the theoretical knowledge, the classroom-based knowledge that every pilot is going to have, we look at the aerodynamics. We're going to look at obviously helicopter aerodynamics and looking then towards the fixed wing dynamics and then combining those for the eVTOL aircraft. So we're looking at the training standards that already exist, and now with the EASA notice the proposed amendment that's just been published, it gives us a regulatory structure and gives us a syllabus for the future pilot training, which will be coming in hopefully early next year.
Now, it's ironic we're talking about something in the future which will be much quieter than what's going on behind you, but talk about the sort of aircraft we're talking and the distances they're going to be travelling.
Sure. I mean, you've multiple providers at the moment and OEM. So you have Vertical Aerospace in the UK, you have Lilium in Germany, you've got Joby. So you have these, market leaders. We have EHang as well. You have these market leaders and really battling for the space. So what we need is a certification of these aircraft. And what we can do with the coming together of VertX Aero and providing the pilot training and then the certification for pilots. But we also have Future Mobility Campus Ireland in the west of Ireland, where we can do all of this prototype testing, development, certification process, train the pilots, have the simulators there for all of this. So we're really trying to build an ecosystem, and we have our first vertiport in Ireland, and we got our planning permission through, so we have a vertiport in the west of Ireland right beside Shannon Airport, so we can operate in controlled airspace. So also we're looking towards the integration of with the integration of eVTOLs into the standard manned aircraft. So if you have an approach and you're coordinating with an ILS approach into Shannon Airport and Class C airspace, how do we look at the arrival and departure of these aircraft operating from a co-located vertiport?
It's a phenomenal thing that's going to be happening when we come to the future of aviation, with urban air travel, with mobility, when we talk about the way we're going to be moving from point A to point B in the future. For your point of view, when it comes to sustainability and the environment, what's the biggest challenge that you feel the industry has to overcome?
So from our point of view, when we look at when we're talking about VTOL aircraft, we're always talking about eVTOL. So we're looking at electric aircraft. So we're already ticking the box for the sustainability piece. And really, when we look towards electric travel, the only limitation we have now is on range. But this is what we need, eVTOL aircraft, is that really short range travel. We're looking at helicopters, regional jets, that kind of scope and scale of operations. The vertiport we have in Shannon, it's been commented on, it's like having a fax machine. There's no point just having one. So what we need is infrastructure. We need to be able to move these aircraft around. We're a little bit off having them being able to land in your garden and collect you from a postcode, but we'll get there eventually.
Yeah, it's the same as having EV charging points for a car, isn't it? You need to have multiple so you can make those journeys. It's a fascinating topic. For yourself, being at this air show, then having the opportunity now to have these conversations with people in the flesh, how important is that?
It's incredibly important to be back actually speaking face to face with people. Has been incredible, and it's incredible to see the growth in the market. The last time I was at Dubai Air Show was 4 years ago, and then we had one corner of the air show was dedicated to unmanned aircraft. And when you walk around here now and you look at what's in the unmanned aircraft space, but in the eVTOL space as well, and it's probably about 60-70% of the show is dedicated towards this new method of mobility that we're going to have in the future. And there's really some incredible exhibitors here, and the innovation that's going on in the space is amazing.
You mentioned Farnborough Air Show. That's been announced. The Farnborough Air Show is happening again. Will you have a presence there?
Absolutely. We'll be there. We'll be there all week. We'll be there with Enterprise Ireland, with the Enterprise Ireland Showcase. So, we've already signed up. So, absolutely, we're going to be there.
It's been fascinating. Thank you very much for chatting to us.
It was such a pleasure, and look forward to seeing you in Farnborough.